Hey Transformers, Coach Patrick here, and today we're going to be diving deep into protein packed breakfasts. Last week we talked about intermittent fasting, and intermittent fasting is a great tool to help you lose weight. It's a great tool to help you burn off the belly fat. It's a great tool to help you regulate your blood sugar levels, regulate your insulin levels, regulate your cholesterol levels, and also regulate your blood pressure levels. However, intermittent fasting is not for everybody. If you have pre-existing medical conditions, if you're taking certain types of medication, if you tried doing intermittent last week and you find that you have just too much cravings in the morning and it's triggering you to like binge eat at lunchtime, or if you're getting lightheaded or dizzy because you're not eating enough in the morning, then it may not be the best fit for you. Remember, we want to work with you to find out something that is going to work for you and your lifestyle. There's no one size diet plan that's going to fit for you. We're going to be introducing you to all of these things so that we can find something that's going to work for you to accelerate your weight loss. So there's a lot of benefits to having a protein packed breakfast. And if you look at the word breakfast, it literally means to break the fast. It is traditionally your first meal of the day to break the fast, okay? Now with breakfast, there's a lot of added benefits. It's gonna help you provide optimal energy levels for the morning. It's gonna help you prevent fatigue. It's gonna help you replenish your nutrient stores. It's gonna regulate your appetite so that you can make better food choices. So intermittent fasting is like a weight loss tool. Having breakfast is to optimize your performance and to optimize your health. Now, can you have breakfast and lose weight? Absolutely. There's definitely a right way to have breakfast and there's a wrong way to have breakfast. So let's start with looking at the wrong way to have breakfast. So the wrong way to have breakfast is going out to eat, going to Denny's or going to McDonald's or going to takeout and fast food. And traditionally breakfast meals are not the healthiest. Things like croissants, things like biscuits, things like white toast that's drizzled with a lot of butter. This is not great. They're high in carbs, they're high in fats. Also, like having hash browns that are like deep fried is also not great. And oftentimes when you have these things, you have meats that are highly processed, like bacon, like sausages. Those are high in saturated fats, high in calories, and this is a recipe for weight gain. Another common thing that I see with my wife is Filipino, so with the Filipino culture is having too much rice, or Asian culture in general, having too much rice first thing in the morning, like 2 cups of rice, and then again having like a ton of processed meats, things like Spam and bacon and longanisa. You don't want to have this. Another common mistake that I see is having high sugar cereals, things like Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Puffs, Rice Krispies. These are all very, very processed, very high in sugar, and it's not going to help you lose weight. Some people think that having granola is healthy. The right type of granola is healthy. However, most granola are added with a lot of sugar. So you just want to check the nutrition label and make sure that it's less than 8 grams of sugar, and then you're good to go. So what should you have for breakfast? You want to have portioned out meals. You want to have your veggies, your fist of veggies. You want to have your palm of protein. You want to have a scoop of carbs. For example, having a smoothie is great. Handful of spinach, that's your vegetables. Some frozen berries, that's your carbs. And then some protein powder, some Greek yogurt, that's your protein, and you have a nice nutritious breakfast. You can also have some overnight oats with some Greek yogurt. So the oats is the carb, the Greek yogurt is the protein, and you can have a side of veggies. Maybe it's spinach or celery or carrots or bell peppers, whatever you like. And then another great breakfast idea is having like a wrap, like a whole grain wrap. You can stuff it with a bunch of lettuce and spinach and have some egg whites. Egg whites is very, very high in proteins, and that's a nice balanced, properly portion controlled breakfast as well. For breakfast, you want to have high protein breakfast, okay? Very, very important. You don't want to have a high carb, high fat breakfast. You want to have a high protein breakfast, the size of your palm minimum, okay? So anywhere from 15 to 30 grams of protein. Things like egg whites, things like Greek yogurt, 0% low fat Greek yogurt, 0% cottage cheese, protein powder, chicken. Those are all some fantastic options. Also, carbs. Where most people go wrong is they have too much carbs, too much of the bad carbs. So you want to have complex carbs, things that are high in fiber, things that are whole grain. If you're trying to lose weight, you should have a maximum of 1 scoop of carbs, just like this, roughly about half a cup. If you're looking to maintain your weight, 2 scoops of carbs is fine. So things like whole grain toast, brown rice, quinoa, oats, high fiber cereals, and also fruits are a great option here as well. So breakfast, breaking the fast. So traditionally with intermittent fasting, you should be fasting for 16 hours and eating for 8 hours, right? But if you're having breakfast, you still should be fasting for a minimum of 12 hours, okay? And if you're fasting a minimum of 12 hours, you gotta make sure that you're eating dinner at a reasonable time. You're having a high protein dinner as well to keep you full during the evening. You shouldn't be having late night snacks. You should be optimizing your sleep, getting a minimum of 8 hours so that there's a 12-hour gap between the last meal, whether it's a dinner or a snack, and then your first meal of the day, being breakfast. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say you are doing intermittent fasting, you're fasting for 16 hours, and you're doing a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. eating window. So 5 p.m. is your last meal, okay? That means your first meal of the day, if you're going for 16 hours, is at 9 a.m. If you're not doing intermittent fasting and you're fasting for just a minimum of 12 hours, then your first meal can be at 5 a.m. if you're like an early bird like myself. For most of you, you guys are gonna have dinner around 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. would be your last meal, which means your first meal can be anywhere from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Another example, for some of you that are doing intermittent fasting and eating from like 12 to 8, your last meal is at 8 p.m., which means your first meal should be a minimum of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., breaking the fast. All right, so challenge of the week. Level number 1 is to avoid take-out breakfast, okay? And to avoid high sugar cereals. Challenge number 2 is to eat a high protein meal, to have a high protein meal and to fast a minimum of 12 hours. Challenge number 3 is to have a portion controlled breakfast after a 16-hour fast every single day. What do I mean by portion control meal? Fist of veggies, palm of protein, and scoop of carbs. All right, team. So I want you to let me know what nutrition challenge you're going to be doing this week. Thanks for watching today's challenge video and allowing us and our team to transform your life through fitness.